Hi, I'm Cinnamon Cooney. I'm the Art Sherpa, and today I'm going to show you how you can significantly improve your drawing skills today. I'm going to show you the wrong way to draw an eye from the side and a better way that you can do today. So get your pencil, get your paper, come back and meet me at the easel right now. We're going to draw. Let's go. The wrong way to draw an eye from the side is to cramp your hands around a pencil, gripping it very tightly and pressing in as hard as you can. Make a V that looks like the greater than, lesser than V from math school. Inside that V, you're going to push out a rounded line. So now you've got a slice of watermelon here, but instead of going that organic direction, putting a pupil right here at the end that you draw in very, very black, and then maybe an iris around that with a dot. Then, you know there's a lid, so let's go ahead and add this very surprised orbital space, and an eyebrow goes here. So let's curve one of those around and draw that in nice and solid. Like it's an eyebrow tattoo right there. Eyelashes coming straight out from the eye. And then you think that you want to have something in there, but wait, no, you want to have it blended. So let's use that finger. That's most what new artists go through when they're not familiar with what an eye looks like from the side. So I'm going to come on this side and I'm going to make a really soft line. This is just going to help me orient what I'm drawing. I'm going to make a really soft circle. If you're really bad at circles, it's okay to trace around something round. But since you're practicing drawing, it's probably a good idea to just do your best to make as good of a circle as you can. Now I'm going to make the pupil next. It's going to be an ellipse like this. And it's going to come past just the slightest bit, even past my eyeball. I'm not going to erase with a crumbly eraser. I'm going to erase with one of these really cool clay erasers. These little gummy, stretchy, really fun erasers. I like them so much. They're called gummies. And everybody should have one in their life if you can. If not, just use the eraser at the back of your pencils. Just make sure you get the crumbles out of the way. Now that I've got my eyeball, because an eyeball is a ball, I'm going to put my lid on. And the lid's going to come to the outside of my eyeball. I'm going to do my lower lid first, and it's going to cover just a touch of my eyeball, but it's going to come out and down to the outside. Then I'm going to come back almost to the halfway point of my eye and curve my lower lid up. Now my upper lid's going to cover about this much of my iris. It's going to come out a little bit. It's going to curve up as well because the skin is thick, so it wouldn't be tight to the eyeball. And this is what helps imply that I have mass and form here. Now, an eyeball is set in a socket, and so we're going to have a rounded crease. See how I'm coming above this line here? I'm going to come down, and I'm not going to join these two. I'm not cramping my hand, and I'm drawing light so I can change my mind. Now, this is the biggest thing I'm about to tell you that's going to make a huge improvement today in how you draw your eye. Come back from the edge of the eye a little bit. This is like an 1/8 inch. And make a very light ellipse. Because these are clear, the iris is clear, and there's a clear lens over it, and so from the side, you need to represent that in some way. So you've just got to find a way that you want to say, there's a clear lens here. You can go ahead and darken that, and already you can see that you've improved what you have going on with your eye. Now is a good time to clean up your lines. I like my gummy eraser because it doesn't leave any crumbly bits. Crumbly bits can trip you in your drawing. And this is less damaging to the paper, interestingly enough. But it won't erase a really dark line. And you just want to have it lift everything up so you can get back to shading. The other nice thing about a gummy eraser is it can do precision erasing, where you can shape it to get right into a particular spot. Now I'm just going to have a light line there, light line there, coming up here. The other thing I'm going to talk about now is the eyebrow. I'm going to actually start the eyebrow in front of the arc, just like I did this line, and bring it over the brow bone. It's going to be high up here because there's a whole brow bone here. And sort of curve down, and I'm going to do this really light because I don't want to draw a heavy arc. Now we have to find one of our darkest values is this fabulous crease. I'm going to just start to darken that in very slowly. Notice that I'm not pushing hard. I'm using the pigment of my pencil. And the materials are in the description so you can check these out. But you can do this with a school pencil. I'm using a 2B pencil for art, and it's very buttery and soft and really leaves me a lot of nice graphite. But the magic is not in the pencil, it is in you. Tools are just for fun, but the art comes from you, and don't ever forget it. All right. So I'm lifting the ellipse. See how I've shaded that, and that has a real feeling now. But I want to blend it out. What I don't want to do is smear it with my finger because my finger has oils. This is a blending stump. And it will let me soften my pencil and blend it out. Look at that. Very, very easily. I just have to rub it along. If I didn't have a blending pencil, Q-tips work. You just don't want to put a bunch of oil on your paper. The other place I want to add a shadow, I'm going to add a very soft shadow in front of the eye. Right here. And then I'm going to have a nice little shadow coming out here. And I'm looking at that and I think, oh, I want to curve that out more. This is a crumbly eraser. See, it's leaving crumbles, but it takes away more graphite. That's about understanding tools. But again, the eraser on the back of your pencil still erases graphite. I'm just shading this right here very carefully, creating a nice soft value. Right? I'm going to take my blending tool. Blend this out very nicely. See how nice that works? Just blending that out. Softly, softly blending that out. Creating a gradated value, the way the light and shadow falls off. And we have that. We have some shape happening there. The other place that I might have a shadow is on the roll of my eyelid. And it would be darkest here and kind of a little bit at the corner here because the light source is coming from the right. So I'm going to shade that. But this part of the lid would have the most light on it. I'm just making light marks. Take your blender. You can also just use your pencil slower and make soft, soft marks. There's a lot of ways to get this done. All right. I'm going to want a little shadow here. And I'm actually, see, I'm using my blending stick to even draw. You can do that. Very soft, 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 soft. And this is going to be more in light. If you lose your white paper, you can always come back with an eraser to get it back. So don't stress out about it. Just create the value. Come back. We'll come back here and put a little highlight back there. Just a little bit. Very, very soft. Soft, 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 soft. A little bit right here. A little bit just softly here. What I'm trying to shape out is the fact that this is pressed out. All right, when I'm happy with that, I can pull a little bit of this shadow up the bone. I'm going to do that with very light, soft, soft, soft pencil marks. Blend those out. I like those quite a lot. Just have fun. Don't take it too seriously. The trick is to keep the oils from your hands off your paper right now and to think about the fact that this is a shape. I'm going to save some white right here for the reflection. This is what's coming through the lens. It's going to curve. And I'm going to leave that my reflection. I'm going to darken my pupil. And I'm going to shade my iris. And I'm going to put a stronger shadow right here. I have a tutorial about water drops, and it explains how the light comes through and where it casts a shadow and where you actually see the light come out, and your eyeball actually does the same thing, which is just sort of interesting. Light shadow there. And I'm shading around. I'm going to make that quite dark. Come here and darken that on the outside to create that shape, that value. And a dark value right here. Now you can come make little lines pulling out from your eye. Even drop a little shadow here. Now the next trick is eyelashes. I'm going to sharpen my pencil. It's good to work with a sharp tool. And here's the trick. You're going to curve out an eyelash like you might think you would, but now we're going to do something maybe you didn't think of. We're going to come around the front of the eye, making shorter eyelashes. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to curve down in front of my eye a little bit. See what we're doing? Back here, my eyelashes may even curve. You might need to shadow this just a little more along the lash line. Just the roll of the skin there. Just pulling those in. You just probably never thought of taking eyelashes in perspective, but they are. Look at that. Same thing here at the bottom. They start around the back side of the eye and come in, curving down. And they don't all line up in a little row, do they? Not planing corn. Back here, they're smaller and lighter. There we go, some nice eyelashes. Now on this eyebrow, I'm going to make sure this line is very light, but I want to still be able to see it. And I'm going to do a similar thing here, but I'm going to arc these hairs, and they're going to be fuller and longer here and lighter and shorter here. start out a little bit unsure of themselves. They curve up. There's a lot of ways to have eyebrows. A lot of ways to draw eyebrows. And sometimes that's the most important thing in a portrait. So it's a good thing to practice. Just implying the line of the eyebrow with these little hairs. And that, make a nice dark line. Look at that. It's not big changes that you have to make as an artist to make big improvement in your art. And honestly, I promise you, all it takes is practice. Start practicing drawing side eyes today. I hope to see you at the easel or pad really soon. Take care of yourselves. Be good to each other. Bye-bye.